Hi, remember that old saying that failing to plan is planning to fail? Well, I can't give you quite as symmetrical one about testing, so I'll say it really simply. If you're not testing, you're not improving. But tests can not only fail, they can actually tell you lies. And today I want to share with you the 6 tips that I've learned to avoid those errors in testing. The first failure is easy, failing to test at all. Think about the things that you do really often, like email sends, the homepage of your website or any other really busy page on your website, landing pages, ad groups, social media posts, retargeting ads in their landing pages. If you're not measuring these things, how are you improving them? For every one of those high volume activities, there should be at least 2 versions duking it out. One of them will turn out to be better than the other, and it's often not the one that you think. The next error or failure is really common, and that is confusing the source of the change. Quick example, this is a common example. I've got an email that I'm sending out every month, and I've got 2 versions of the email. One's really long form and one's really short form, because I'm trying to work out whether long or short form works better. So I send out the long form one month and the short form one the next month. The short form one gets a much better response, and I conclude that short is better than long. Or should I conclude that month 1 is better than month 2? Or should I conclude that never send out an email when there's a big sporting event on? So many other variables could have explained why one of those worked and the other one didn't. So what you need to do is to clinically separate so that there's nothing else different. It's a random split. They go out at the same time to the same list. This person, this person, this person, this person. So you're splitting the list up, but you're randomizing that split, and that nothing else is different other than the length of the copy in that example. Well, the third trap is that small numbers tell lies. Give you a silly small example. Let's say that we've got a really small list of high quality candidates, high quality targets, and we send email version A to 20 of them and email version B to 20 of them. Version A gets 2 responses and version B gets only 1 response. Can we conclude that version A is better than version B? No, because it so easily could have been the case that the companies that we sent version A to just turned out to be better prospects. With such small numbers, those kind of variabilities really easily sneak in. Can also be really situational. Imagine yourself, you've just received an email that you weren't expecting, and mostly you're going to delete them. But every now and then you read one, and that's partly a function of whether you're busy at that point in time. And so you're exposing yourself to whims. Can we not though just conclude that if version A got 2 responses and version B got only 1, that there's some kind of directional indicator there that very possibly version A is better, and that maybe we might think that version A is better? Not on your life. But for a whim, version B might have come in with 4 and version A might have come in with 1, and you'd have concluded completely the reverse. Not only is that not clear proof, it's not even an indicator at those small numbers. Small numbers tell lies. Those first 3 were fairly easy and not that controversial. Let me go now, this is going to sound geeky, but it's so critical. Don't confuse failure of the test with proof of failure. Let me explain. You form a view that you can improve something in a material way, and you run a test to do that. The test doesn't come back with a result that you can believe. Maybe the results are the same, or they're so close that you really can't believe the differences. So certainly the test failed. But did it also prove that that difference doesn't work? Maybe let's go with our long form, short form example. So maybe the test was long form versus short form, and we failed to find a difference. Therefore, we proved that there is no difference in length. That's a really different onus of proof. If we're trying to really prove that long form and short form doesn't matter, we probably want to run that test 100 times, or 50, or 20, but not once. We ran it once and we failed to prove that we could get an improvement. We did not prove that you can't get an improvement. Big, big, big difference. So if you want to lock in a learning, the learning would be that test failed. Not, we've proven that length of copy doesn't matter. Because if you really want to prove that length of copy doesn't matter, that's a very different test than the test we set out with. I know that sounds kind of geeky and maybe even pedantic, but it's critical that you draw the right conclusions from your tests. And failure to prove is a perfectly okay outcome. Just acknowledge that it's failure to prove. We tried to prove that long form's better than short form. We failed on this occasion. That's okay. Maybe you'll run the test again and have another shot. Maybe you'll run it a third time and have another shot. You didn't prove that it didn't work. You failed to prove that it does work. And that's a really important difference. Okay, that fourth one was a little bit pedantic. This fifth one is going to sound a little bit theoretical, not so much pedantic, but it's important as well. Let me quickly explain what it is and then defend it a bit. Putting a test together without a hypothesis is a waste of time. Version A of your email, version B of your email, version A1, what did you learn? Well, you learnt that version A worked. What generalisable conclusions did you learn? Well, I don't know. I think that it was because that was longer or shorter, or more assertive or less assertive. I think, but maybe I don't really know. If you run a test without a hypothesis, you don't get a clear, generalisable conclusion that you can put in the bank. It's not hard to change that. Start with your hypothesis. I think I can improve this by this amount if I do this thing. That's your hypothesis. I think that I can improve this outcome by this amount by doing this action. Then build a test that proves or disproves that hypothesis. Now you've got a generalisable conclusion. The generalisable conclusion is long beats short for my audience, or frequent beats infrequent, or aggressive beats passive, whatever your test was. But start with your hypothesis. I think I can improve this by this amount by doing this action. For example, I think I can improve open rates by 10% by using more assertive copy in the headline. Start with your hypothesis, then build your test, then you measure. Okay, so we've got 5 common errors in A/B testing for marketing so far. Failing to test, confusing the cause, small numbers telling lies, confusing proof with failure, and testing without a hypothesis. Now, number 6, lacking an overall context for the processes that we're trying to improve. Let me explain. So the 6th and final error is lacking a context for our testing. What tactics came before the one that we're testing? What tactics are going to come after? Strategically, which market are we marketing to? What are we offering to that market? What problem are we trying to solve for that market? You need to know all of those questions so that you can do each of the tactics really well. And all of those things, the strategy and the tactics, that's the job of a funnel plan. Now, if you already have a funnel plan, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, go get one. Go to funnelplan.com, check out what we're talking about there. Funnel plan is a way of building your overall sales and marketing process with sales and marketing together. It's not a marketing plan, it's not a sales plan, it's a sales and marketing process map, and that's the job of funnel plan. If you haven't got one, go get one at funnelplan.com. Well, I hope you got lots of value out of today's video. I had fun putting it together for you. I've got lots more lined up for our next show, and until then, may your funnel be full and always flowing. Our thanks this week to you for watching this week's show, to Nick Steffens for blog production, Amy Dethick for video production. My name's Hugh McFarlane and it's been my absolute pleasure to have scripted and recorded today's show.